Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to this episode of Two Girls, One Doc.
One Doc.
It's your girl, BD.
It is Florence the Foodie.
And we are back with part two.
Back. Yes, we are back. I don't think there's much to say ahead of. I
think we just need to get right into it. Left you on a cliffhanger last week.
Literally, the people are gagging. So
the people want to know.
Catch that tea. No. So where we left you, Dennis had been arrested, but not for the murder of Aundria. We didn't know what it was for, well, at first, but then it was like, oh, you raped and murdered a pilot's wife. Who is this pilot's wife? What is going on? We do not know. So that's where we
how
left
did
you.
we get here?
How did we get here? So the second episode opens up with the police tapes of, and it's the actual videotapes. You can see the interview happening. And Brenda is being interviewed, and she's
what an ugly bitch.
So ugly in so many ways.
You ugly bitch.
Literally.
That's a Drag Race reference for those who get it.
Okay. And she's she's being told that Dennis is being indicted for murder and rape. So we basically meet someone called Christine, and she is Kathleen Doyle's auntie. And so Kathleen Doyle is the pilot's wife who has been murdered and raped by Dennis.
Yeah.
And this really got to me because I think with Aundria, whilst you feel sad, there was no one really in that documentary who knew her per se.
Her friends were there.
Yeah, but that's different. But with Kathleen, you have this person who knew and loved her.
Yeah.
This was her family. So she's basically telling us just about Kathleen and how great she was, how she'd gone to uni, she wanted to be a writer. And Kathleen gets married in 1979. And she's at home alone because her husband is a pilot and he's off working. So she's at home alone. Her friend comes around that day. They kiki, they drink some wine. Her friend goes home. Now, next thing, her friend is the next day, it's kind of if it's like you and I, if I haven't spoken to you for a certain amount of hours in a day, I'm like, yeah, you good?
Did she die?
Yeah, literally, you good or do you hate me? So her friend is literally calling, no answer. She's like to her husband, yeah, you need to go. And I love when women are just delegating to their husbands. She's like to her husband, yeah, you need to go check on Kathleen because I don't know what's going on. So the husband goes, no one's there. The friend goes into the house and basically finds Kathleen. And they don't say what state she finds her in, but she was on the bed deceased, and the house was the wine. First of all, she says when she's walking through the house, the wine glasses they used were still there, which was off-brand. Everything in the house,
on brand for me, boy. You'd be like, okay, yeah, she fell asleep.
Oh, she fell asleep. She fine.
She fell asleep.
She walks through to the bedroom and finds Kathleen. So a murder investigation starts, and they basically find that she's been sexually assaulted, and she had she'd been burnt with a child's toy. But she had no kid. So they were like, what's the tea? What's going on? There were no fingerprints, and the phone had been tampered with in the sense that you could, even if you made a call, the person on the other end wouldn't be able to hear what you were saying.
Yeah. As in they removed the mouthpiece. Are you dumb? Is this not premeditation? Bruh.
Thank you. The premeditation. So at this point, they're like, who could this be? This is obviously somebody that's skilled. But the case goes cold because there's nothing. And obviously, this is the 80s. The DNA wasn't DNAing. So they collected samples, but there was nothing they could do with
and
them.
I love that they still did that back in, I love obviously do your job in it, but it's good that they collected and preserved for a time such as when DNA testing was available.
So Brenda at this point so it flips back to present day, and
Brenda is so dumb.
Right.
Every time I have it in my notes, I'm going to say it.
Yeah. She's defending Dennis, and she's basically saying, oh, we lived in Michigan at the time, so he couldn't have killed someone in Virginia, so it's not him.
And you know what? Yeah, she's a dumb bitch, but I see what she's doing. She's really trying to hold onto this image that she has of her husband and this hope that he's innocent. And I guess I feel like, hey, well, he couldn't have been there. So even though he's done all these bad things in the past, he couldn't have done this one. He couldn't have been there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he just couldn't have.
He just couldn't. He just wasn't. But he was. Spoiler alert.
So Kathleen's family are like, yeah, nah, we're not gonna let this go, and they continue to push. And the only member of Kathleen's family that's in this documentary is her aunt. And just to caveat that as well, she says they were basically raised as sisters, because although she was Kathleen's mum's sister, she was only 7 years older
than Kathleen.
So they were raised like sisters. So you can actually see there's a sisterly bond
Yeah.
that's there. So the family are trying to push the investigation. They're not letting it go. And this goes on until 2016 when Kathleen's dad dies. And even after he dies, the rest of the family are like, bro, like, we are still fighting the good fight. We want to know what happened. And Kathy is like, if her and Tim, or if Tim had still been alive, they would have been like kindred spirits because they shared the same like goal. Like,
yeah.
So we meet John Smith, and he basically takes over the cold case, Kathleen's cold case. And he says, I started reviewing Kathleen's case file and I found out there were 2 specimen fluids left by the offender, seminal fluid on the bed and seminal fluid from the rape kit. So like we said, they've saved these things. There's something to test. And the DNA had been preserved for years. And obviously with the rise of things like ancestry DNA, like police are able to like track DNA in different ways from previously. So you don't have to wait for someone to necessarily submit a sample. Familial DNA means you can track. So they pulled some records and the FBI were able to yield 31 potential names.
That's crazy.
And they like, John is like, yeah, I searched all of these names and I got to the last one and Dennis was the last one. And he was
it's
like,
always that way.
Why is it always that way? That? Because if you had been like, oh, it's not this list and just given up.
Why couldn't he have been number 15?
Right. So I feel like sometimes they lie about stuff like that.
Me too.
Just for dramatic effect.
Yeah. Oh, it was the last one on the list and I was like, oh, and it was so come on, man. You know it was number 3. Why are we pretending?
So he says that when he searches Dennis, numerous red flags pop off. It's like bing, 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 bing. And one thing about John Smith and his glasses, he is thorough. Okay? He is thorough.
That's like, you are insisting. You said, I will wear these. I will wear these.
Come rain, come shine. Anything.
I will wear this. You know that Family Guy, is it Family Guy or South Park? And he's like, it insists upon itself. Have you seen that clip?
No.
That's what his glasses are. Like, the glasses, they just insist.
They have to be there. Itself. They have to be there. So he has this like FBI conference thing that he needs to go to. And he's kind of like, okay, like I'm going to go, but like this case is on my mind. And he gets there and he meets Brian Fuller. And Brian Fuller is the cold case detective for Aundria's case.
He's a Michigan babe, yeah.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, I got this guy from Michigan that I'm eyeballing for a murder and rape. And he's like, funny you say that because his daughter also went missing and we suspect him for a murder. And there were, allegations.
He was like, that's your guy, by the way.
Sexual. And he's like, yeah, that's your man. So let's strategize. Like, let's see how we can do this together. I love when they work together instead of fight.
Yeah, I get it. When they just get over the jurisdiction vibes and just be like, listen, babe, let's be one. Do you know what I mean? Make love, not war.
For real. So this bit is convoluted, but basically John is reading the transcripts of when Dennis was arrested for the attempted assault on this teenager. And he's like, okay, yeah, I can see that John was in Michigan at the time, living there, but
which is 600 miles away, by the way,
so
from
it's not
Virginia.
Feasible. But then there's this one day there's one time when they come to court and Dennis isn't there because he is in Virginia working at that point.
Yeah, they let him go to some summer camp.
Right. So he's like, I gotcha. So he's able to confirm. So I love this because if we go back to last week's episode, Kathy had been on the Bowman's ass. She was I'm calling you, I'm harassing you, I'm putting up billboards. And they were feeling so harassed by Kathy. They like go to the police and they're like, look, like, this is really becoming insistent. We can't, whatever. Yeah. So the police are like, okay, you know what? Why don't you come down? We'll take a statement. We'll talk to you. And this is all part of the honey trap.
Yep.
So they get there and they're yapping and Dennis is drinking water and he's complaining and this and that, and then they leave. And that little cup that he was drinking water from, they bag that up, send it off to evidence, compare that to
the seminal fluid DNA,
the cock juice, and they're like, oh, it's 100% a match.
You red card.
It is a match. We got him. We got it, Joe.
We got him.
We did it, Joe. Boys. And so that is when they bring arrest Dennis.
Dennis is a yapper.
Yapping mayor of Yappington.
Nah, because
and John and his glasses, they are in it for the long haul. So he's like, look, I know his type. He's not just gonna lay down and tell us everything he did.
Absolutely not.
We need to build a rapport with.
He has to kind of stroke his ego a little bit. Do you know what I mean?
So Jung starts going to see Dennis. He goes there. He brings him Chick-fil-A. He brings him in and out. Starbucks, anything he
McDonald's. Better takeaway bags, that's all.
Dennis is calling that ugly bitch, saying, you know what, like they're really being nice to me. They think I'm gonna talk and they're buying me this and that. And slowly, this takes ages, Dennis starts to talk about Kathleen. And he says, oh, I just went into rob, but then I told the woman I'm not trying to do anything but take your money. And then he pushed her on the bed and then he walked out and she was alive. And then he starts to go deeper and he says that he has this demon that's inside of him that wants to get out. I
said, is this the fucking Dark Passenger? I'm watching Dexter at the moment, yeah? Which, I know you've seen it because I saw that thing you put on your stories. This show is pissing me off. It's pissing me off. You start off with, okay, I kill people who do bad things, yeah? But we've lost it. We've lost the plot. Nobody, you work in a building full of detectives. Nobody can detect. Except the one guy who detected my uncle James Stokes, yeah? You offed him, framed him. Still nobody thought this don't make no sense.
It doesn't logically make sense, but you can't watch these, because I watched Dexter when I was young because my dad used to watch it, so I used to watch it with my dad. So with a young mind, you're like, oh my gosh, this is so crazy.
Yeah,
as an adult, you're like, what the fuck is this shit? It doesn't make a lick.
You are out all hours of the night. Your colleagues have gone home, but you're still working late, quote unquote. They've offed your wife now.
You're a detective yourself, so what are you working late doing?
It's only blood spatter. Nobody cares about your thoughts on the case. It's just
and
what's the trajectory.
Not all cases have spatter,
bro.
So what are you working late doing?
What are you working late doing? I'm like, and the thing is, I'm on season 5 now, yeah? And there's 8 seasons, okay? And I said, I just have to, I keep watching because I'm like, there has to be a point in time. It's not even I've come this far. It's just, there has to be a point in time where someone catches you and sees you for who you are. There has to be. There has to be. You can't tell me we get to season 8 and you're free, you're home free.
Watch it.
I am so irritated. So when this guy starts talking about this, there's this demon, I said, if you fucking talk about fucking Dark Passenger, I will literally jump through the screen, because what are we saying here? Every time it's a demon, it's you.
It's you. Demon. Not every day lie on the devil.
The devil literally is looking around like, why am I in it? Like, I ain't got nothing to do with this.
Sometimes it's just you.
Sometimes it's you.
So despite this overwhelming evidence, there is DNA evidence. Brenda's still defending Dennis.
And the phone calls prove that she knows what he did.
There are prison phone calls where she's basically saying that she knows what he did, but she's still defending him. She's still loving him. She's still saying all that matters is love. No, all that matters is not that you love each other. This is not Titanic.
No, in fact, that's the least of what matters.
That
doesn't even matter.
Order. It doesn't even matter. So Kathy says, thinking about Brenda just lights me on fire more than Dennis. Real. I blame her just as much, even more so.
No, even more. No, you're right, even more. Because if all the stuff that happened before, yeah, like, it wouldn't have gotten to Kathleen, and if it had gotten to Kathleen, it wouldn't have gotten to Andrea.
Yeah,
if you had spoken up or done something like that, you need to have some prison time. I can't lie. You need to be in prison because you're an accessory.
So the police know that Dennis wants to be in Michigan with Brenda because it's easier for her to visit, and they're getting old at this stage. So he wants to be in Michigan. Right now he's in Virginia because that's where he had to be extradited to.
Because that's where he killed Kathleen. Yeah.
So they basically make an effort and they say to Dennis, look, if you tell us the truth about what happened to Aundria, we can get you to be moved to Michigan so that you can see your family.
Exactly.
And he was really stubborn at this point because he still had his wife and his daughter on his side. So he's kind of like, you know what, like, I don't need to say anything. I didn't kill you. And then he says this thing where he's like, I keep telling you, you don't kill family. And like, the guy's like, bro, you don't kill anyone. He's like, yeah, I know, but you don't kill family. Okay, red flag.
But also you do, so...
Yeah, exactly.
What are we doing here?
So one random day, Dennis asks to meet with Brenda, and we see this. He's in the prison jumpsuits that are like old school. They're like grey and black stripes.
Yeah, like the burglars.
Literally. And the police basically facilitate this. And he's like, when Brenda comes in, he's like, hi, baby, and all this nonsense.
Oh, they're so ugly. We keep saying Brenda's ugly, but he's also ugly.
Yeah, he's
so ugly.
But like, he's like, oh yeah, they don't usually do this, but they've done it for me. They've made a special exception. Okay, whatever. And they sit down, and then he says that day that Aundria went missing, him and Aundria got into an argument, and then he hit her, and then she fell down the stairs. And by the time he got down the stairs, she was clearly dead.
Her neck was broken or something.
Yeah. So he says he put her in the barn and left her there for days because he knew the police were searching. And so how hard did the police search if she was in the barn?
Girl.
Because I think of everything he says in this initial story, I do think she was in the barn for some time.
Yeah, because the first story he says is that he put her with the bin, right? Or was that after he said this?
No, so the next part of the story is that he tried to put her in this bin.
Okay. So she was in the barn, just like out.
Laying there, wrapped in a blanket.
Oh, yes.
And then he cut off her legs so that she would fit in
the barrel.
And then he puts her out with the trash.
And then when he comes back, like it's been basically puts out with the neighbor's trash, and when he comes back, it's been taken. Yeah. I was like, that doesn't sound like that happened, really. Like that.
And Kathy's basically like, I'm not fucking buying it, because the way this man is set up, he's such a narcissist. He feels like he owns her. So he would never have just put her out in the trash. He would want her somewhere that he could still control the situation and a bargaining chip.
And it is very like what's the word? Dumb or like careless to just put her out and hope that what if when they were lifting the bin something fell out?
Exactly.
You wouldn't chance that. So
at this stage, and this is really sad, the police actually had a warrant out for Aundria's arrest because she'd allegedly stolen money from the family.
Yeah, do you remember like last episode when they were like, how she took money from the baby's piggy bank, and I think they had like a tax return or something.
Yeah.
So it was like $100 or something that was taken.
And obviously they asked about this money, and then he was like, I do think she'd taken the money, but I burnt the jacket in some of her stuff, so it looked like she'd taken stuff, so the money could have been in the jacket. But it's like, you're fucking lying. You probably pocketed that money and said that she took it.
Why would you burn the money that you had?
Anyways, he also says that he was also really happy when people started saying there were sightings, because it took the heat off him. And can I just say that also this just shows that this man has no remorse. All the tears he was crying when he was telling Brenda, he doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't give a heck.
And what did any tear even fall?
Who knows?
No, because he literally was like almost like smirking and happy, like like when people were saying they saw her, I was like, great, like she's been seen alive. He probably even convinced himself, she must be alive, like I didn't do anything to her because people are seeing her. That's why all you eyewitnesses.
I was going to say this. They need to ban. Same way they ban lie detector tests. Let's ban eyewitnesses, because they don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
They don't see shit.
So Brenda is still supporting him. Still.
Oh wait, hold on. Okay, so this guy is taking no accountability, as you just said. Brenda is a dumb bitch.
Okay. So Dennis kept spinning different stories. His story would change so many times, and they basically meet, like the police meet with Brenda, and they're like, look, you need to try and get the truth from Dennis. You are the only one that can get the truth from him. So she is calling constantly, saying, look, I just need to know where my daughter is. I need peace. I keep seeing her. This story you've told me doesn't make sense. I want to bury her, blah, blah, blah. Then he tells a story about how he's buried her. He's like, I've given her a proper
This is the letter that he wrote.
Yeah, that I buried her. I put red ribbon, just waffling.
Yeah, I put cloves and whatever.
So after ages...
Very fantastical tale.
Dennis finally confesses that, as Kathy believed, Dennis had buried Aundria in his backyard. Bro. So basically, he had kept her in the barn the whole time. And then when they moved to the new house, he put her there, and he put her in with multiple trash bags that had diapers.
Can you imagine?
To mask the smell. Like, he didn't give a fuck about this girl.
And the fact that there were multiple trash bags of diapers means you had a baby whilst you were doing this. You were using the waste product of your living baby to mask the smell of your dead daughter.
That you had killed.
Dead at your hands.
So on a prison call with Brenda, Dennis is getting...
Oh, sorry. This is where I have in capitals, Brenda is a dumb bitch.
So the dumb bitch is getting... Dennis is getting angry with the dumb bitch. And he said, I thought maybe if you thought she was buried decently, properly, with respect, then maybe you'd say, okay, that was enough. But no, at least you'll have her in a tin jar on a shelf. And that was just a small excerpt I took from what he said. Everything he said was so disrespectful and disgusting.
Yeah.
He was basically like, yeah, like, I gave you a story, you couldn't accept it.
Yeah.
You wanted to have her in a tin jar. Like, what do you mean a tin jar? Are you sick?
Do you understand what you've done? But the thing is that, like, at some point, like, I'm looking at Brenda, like, can you see how this man is chatting to you?
Oh, no, she can't,
this is what you've allowed, fam.
In the next
this is what you've enabled.
Brenda is still saying she loves Dennis.
She's a dumb bitch.
So at this point, Dennis is confessing to sexually assaulting multiple women. And the documentary is coming to an end. But, like, one of the things that... I've forgotten his name now. The amateur sleuth.
Carl.
One of the things Carl is saying is that at that time, when she was saying that he was buried, like, she was buried in the back of the garden, he was like, this is not plausible, this is not realistic. But this has just taught him that there's nothing more than a mother's intuition. And the police felt the same as well, because when they went to arrest Dennis the first time for Kathleen's murder, they did search the house and they found nothing. They bought cadaver dogs. They bought, like, it wasn't detecting anything. So she was like, this is so strange that I am so sure she's there, but they didn't find anything. So obviously after this, and they go to search and everything, they find her. So Dennis then confesses to sexually assaulting.
Oh, sorry. Before that, the DNA test confirms that it's Aundria as well.
Yeah, the DNA.
At that point. Yeah. And this is where I had written, where I was like, fam, like, if Kathy wasn't around or had died, whatever, would we even know who she was? We
never would have known. At best, Dennis would have been arrested for Kathleen's murder, but that would have been it. That would have been it.
Yeah.
So Dennis obviously confesses to sexually assaulting multiple women, and then on-screen text tells us that Dennis pleads no contest. Do
you know what else he did? Yeah, sorry. He sexually assaulted a woman whilst with Brenda before they got married. Yeah, he sexually assaulted 2 women after they got married. Another after that. Like, he denies meta. He denies the whole meta thing at 6 years old. And it's like, you might as well say that you did it because you did it. At this point, what more do you have to lose?
And the thing as well with me is that, okay, even at base level, if you're like a super patriarchal princess, you don't care about women, so you don't really care about women being sexually assaulted. At best, this man is cheating on you.
Thank you.
That nothing triggers you. You still think that this is the love of your life.
Nothing. So what does he have to do for you to see that this guy's a monster? Nothing.
I do agree with you, though. I kind of get the feeling, because that's what they were saying in the first episode, that I get the vibe that Brenda was not desirable in school, didn't have a lot of options.
Yeah.
This guy
She was just happy to... And he
got
got her young, early.
Yeah. And someone even said that, like, Brenda was the perfect piece in Dennis's puzzle. Like, she allowed him to present as, like, a family guy. She gave him security, stability, and she also let him do his thing. So why not?
And there'll be food when he gets home, and his child will be taken care of.
And do you know what's so sad as well? Part of the reason why part of the reason why Aundria hadn't left, because she did want to run away, but part of the reason she hadn't gone all the way is because she felt that she needed to protect her baby sister Vanessa. She doted on that babe. Absolutely loved that babe. Crazy. So Dennis pleads no contest to the murder of Aundria, and we see Dennis's sentencing.
Yeah, he gets some second-degree murder, right?
Yeah.
Which is insane.
Which is insane. It's first, but they, I guess,
it's first premeditated, all the things.
Yeah. They, of course, couldn't prove it because, obviously, like, what was left of Aundria's body was the bones. Like, we can't even tell, like, how she died.
I don't think it was she fell down the stairs. It was an accident. I think she told him by himself and he beat her. I
think he came home trying to touch on her again.
Mm-hmm. And she said, not on my watch.
No, they got into some sort of argument and he beat the shit out of her.
That's what I think.
Or choked her out or something.
Yep. That's what I think.
So... this is where they said, because they even said it, that look, Dennis was playing checkers, we were playing chess.
Yep.
And they were like, okay, thank you for all you've told us, but you are going back to Virginia.
You're going to Virginia. And when they were trying to, like, say to him, like, oh, you know, we'll let you stay in Michigan if you ever, I was like, they better send this man back to, they better, even if there's somewhere further than Virginia they send him, they better send him there.
Not give him anything.
You don't get anything. You are going to be in jail and you're going to be alone. Brenda is an old dumb bitch and she is not going to be able to come to Virginia to see you.
If your daughter has a lick of sense, she won't come to see you either.
But she seems like
she was supporting him.
Okay,
but I even meant to read about her, but I forgot.
I tried
to. There's nothing on her.
Nothing.
I tried to after. You can't find anything on her. She probably changed her name, but that daughter, she was supporting him when it first came out about Kathleen. I don't know if she's still supported after Aundria.
With these things, I'm just like,
for me, the tipping point, because I tried to think about it in perspective of my dad, and I probably would back him up until that DNA proof.
Yeah, I think
once the DNA comes out and it's a match, what are you saying?
Yeah,
there's nothing you're saying, because
but also, like, you know what he's done in the past. Kathy did Freedom of Information Act. This is a stranger, and she found out all these things. If I did a Freedom of Information Act right now, and I found out that my dad had assaulted this woman here or tried to adopt this kid, I am looking at you like, nah, I can't lie. That's insane. And you served jail time for it.
You're forgetting also, though, that you can spin any story to people that love you, and you only see
want
from
to think the best of you. Yeah, they want to think the best of you. It's like someone, you and I, if we had a disagreement, I'm trying to see the best. Like, Brenda ain't gonna do that to me. She's not gonna want to do that. She's not gonna want to. Yeah, it's true. But I'm sorry, you've been to, and also you are a white man. Yeah, you went to jail for this shit. You did that shit. Like, there was no miscarriage of justice. There was no. You literally, you did that shit. I can't lie. Like, I can't even look like, oh, maybe the system. No, you did. You did it, bro.
Guilty,
and then you did it again. And then you did it again, and you continue to do it. So even if you're right. Like, okay, cool. Now I needed proof. Yeah. Now I have the proof. What am I still doing? What am I defending?
Now why am I
like? You have to begin your own healing process.
Yeah. So this part is so infuriating, yeah, because after all is said and done, Dennis has been sentenced. He goes to prison. Brenda,
he gets 2 life sentences.
This dumb fucking bitch offers Kathy half of Aundria's cremated remains.
Are you insane?
And Kathy's like, so what half is it? The bottom or the top? Like, are you fucking...
And she's like, so you're cutting her up more. This guy's already said he chopped her in half, and you're chopping her again.
Like, are you okay? And she was like, I want all of it. I fought for her. I was more of a mother
than this woman from
afar
than you were. Yeah.
And like, we hear Brenda, because Brenda and Dennis are still talking. And if Brenda ever loved Aundria, you wouldn't be talking to Dennis, because this man killed your daughter. This is what I'm saying. Like, do you have no loyalty to your daughter? Because at the end of the day, you can love a man, yeah. But again, that special place in hell. How do you love this man more than you love your child? I'm sorry. Are you insane? Brenda,
and I wonder if he had done this to Vanessa, would her thoughts be different?
They would be different. Because that's what happens. They would be different. And Brenda and Dennis are talking about it, and Brenda said, oh, because they're having normal chats like a couple.
They're chatting like normal.
The same way you would talk to your man about anything. They're chatting normally, like, this man didn't murder this girl. She is saying, like, oh, yeah, Kathy's even lucky to have anything at all. If went to court, they would say, oh, at least she gave you half. And Dennis is saying, yeah, well, she's definitely lucky. She threw her away.
Threw her away. Are you
she
dumb?
did not throw her away.
You threw her away. Actually,
thank you. You threw her away. It quite literally, you threw her away.
She was trying to do up. I'm gonna give my baby the best life that I can give her, and you threw her away.
So
Kathy is. If I was Kathy, me too, I'd be in jail alongside Dennis, because I would have. Brenda, nah. It's on and popping. Brenda's the kind of op that you see, and every time you see her, it's on site. I don't care if you're even on the way to your wedding. You come out in your dress and you whoop her ass.
You beat her
It's
up.
On site every time.
She needs her ass beat for real.
No, a couple times. It's insane. How can you love a man so much? If that's love, I don't want it. It's okay. I don't want it.
So on-screen text tells us that Brenda declined to be interviewed and requests for comments. Dennis is serving 2 life sentences in Virginia, and law enforcement believe the true extent of his crimes will never be known. And I agree.
Yeah, I agree.
They need to just round up all the crimes, sexually, whatever crimes in that area and in Virginia.
And just attribute it to him. Yeah.
And put him in prison for longer.
Yeah.
And it's a shame to me. The crying shame of all of this is that he gets found when he's older. He has lived a full life.
Exactly.
So
it's like what we were saying about the scammers, right? Like, you literally lived your life. You stayed. You got your hotel stays. You did everything. So, like, what are we really doing here? It's like, in your old age, I just hope they're beating him up in that jail, man. I hope he never knows peace. I'm even annoyed that they even gave him Chick-fil-A and shit. Like, I hate that he even had that.
I hate that he eats. Let him die.
I hate the way that you talk.
Literally, I feel Kendrick Lamar in this situation. Like, I
hate you. Like, it's so sad, because you got to live all those years. You killed Kathleen. 40 years you lived to have your own kid, to kill your own kids, to have another kid. What?
How many chances does one get in this life?
It was just so like heartbreaking. The other documentary that made me feel this way was Girl in the Picture. I just felt so like this is just why would you able to do these things?
Yeah, I remember that case as well.
It's just jarring. Like, is he
also,
still alive?
Who?
The Dennis guy.
Yeah, he's still alive. So is Brenda.
Was there anything you heard on the podcast that they didn't cover in the documentary?
Which podcast?
I've always listened to a podcast about it.
Not this case. I listened to a podcast on whatever case it was I mentioned last week. But I'm going to actually try and find a podcast on this because I feel like they'll go into more... I just like hearing it from different angles.
I get it. Getting all the facts.
So if I
wonder what's going on with that Vanessa girl, because I swear there was a...
I couldn't find anything immediately after
I googled it, but wait, hold on. I saw this article, but I don't. Blah blah blah. Oh, Vanessa Bohm's whereabouts today are unconfirmed, and she wasn't involved in Netflix's documentary.
Yeah, I think you're reading the same article I read.
Yeah,
it just basically said that she supported him. We see her support of him in the initial, and I really think she wants no parts of it, which leads me to believe she doesn't chat to them, because even in the documentary you don't see her face, you just see like half of her like body.
She's got like red hair or something.
And she's not trying to be part of this mess, and you don't see any pictures of her or anything, so I don't think she was interested.
Oh, Brenda's so ugly. Her picture just popped up.
Ugh.
Oh, Vanessa looks like her mum.
Oh, you see Vanessa?
Yeah, let me should I share my screen?
Share your screen.
Can I share my screen? How's that? Is it this?
I was on the phone FaceTime to Kira this morning, and she was like, oh, let me share my screen. And it was like FaceTime on the phone, and I was like, oh my god, how do you do that? She was like, you are not 100.
On WhatsApp you can FaceTime. On WhatsApp you can share your screen.
But I didn't know you could do this. She's like, you're not 100.
You're actually a terrible... Can you see my screen? Yeah, you can. I can see it. Okay. Yeah. Can you see her? There.
Wait, hold on. Oh, yeah.
Can you see?
She's like her mama. Yeah.
I can't hear you. Oh, maybe I can't hear while you're... Hold on.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I don't think I can hear you when I'm sharing the screen. Yeah, but you can see it. You saw it, right?
Yeah, she looks exactly like her mama.
It's a crying shame. But anyway, no, like hopefully she, she kind of like has deep that her father's a dickhead, and she,
freed herself. But guys, I mean, I would say the documentary is definitely worth a watch. I was sobbing.
Yeah, so sad.
Sobbing. So your screen is still being shared.
Is it?
How do I... Okay, I've stopped it, yeah. No, I was sobbing, literally crying, like from the Kathleen bit till the end I was crying. So basically most of the second episode, yeah.
And I feel so bad for Kathy, because it's just like, girl, like this shouldn't have been that. Like, her life would have been better with you.
Yeah, it shouldn't have been your story.
It shouldn't have been your story, exactly. So sad.
All right, so...
Oh, now it's time for...
The real crime, I think, was the beard.
Our segment where we focus on something during the documentary that may not be criminal, but we definitely consider to be a crime. We basically said all of my ones. The real crime, I think, is Dennis. He buried her with trash bags full of diapers to mask the smell of her dead body, which is nasty.
And
30
also, it's
plus
not gonna
years
work.
of old poop. Is everyone okay? Is everything all right? What are we doing here?
And
That's
also,
disgusting.
you can't mask the smell of decay that way. It's not going to work,
bro.
So you're
Disgusting.
also an idiot. You're also fucking idiot.
That one is a given. And then the real crime, I think, is Brenda, which is a dumb bitch. Okay. And the real crime, I think, was Aundria's hair in that particular picture, because I'm sorry, R.I.P. But that was criminal.
For me, it was Dennis just saying that he was going about walking around looking for whose house he was going to enter, and it just shows me like you're at home minding your business, drinking your water, minding your biz. Somebody is out there looking for evil that they're going to commit.
And that's why every day that you make it to the next day, you really have to be thankful,
girl, because
you have to be thankful. I don't know how to. If I press this button, is it gonna cancel the call?
What are you trying to do?
Because you're viewing, you can still see my screen, innit?
Not anymore. I cancelled it.
Oh, okay. Well, but yeah, fam. people are trash. Men are trash, yes, but this particular woman, trash.
Absolute nonsense. Put her
Can't
in a
believe
bin.
it. If you are a woman, and you have a child, and you have a man, I just hope you know what order it comes in, because one of those people is vulnerable and one of those people is not. I mean, they might be. Do you know what I mean? Maybe they've got like dementia or whatever. Fair. But in a normal situation, your child requires you. They need you. They rely on you.
They need you.
Your man is an adult, just like you are.
Yeah.
So everyone should
just understand the pecking order.
Let's understand ourselves. Do you know what I mean?
For sure.
Don't be Brenda. Don't be like her.
For sure.
But next, what are we saying? Oh, what's it called? Love is jail. The jail, loving the jail. What's it called? The jail.
That woman's face is etched in my memory.
Vicky?
The woman from since the first time I ever watched that, not the documentary, but heard of the podcast or whatever, I cannot forget her stupid face.
Jailbreak, Love on the Run. That's it. Oh, with her fringe. Oh man, what a sad day.
Sad state of affairs.
Honestly, Jailbreak, Love on the Run. It's on Netflix, and it's just one episode. We're gonna do it as a credits. We're just gonna talk about all the things. Women are being very, very stupid these days, and we need for it to end. It's off brand. It's off brand. We can't continue to be Men Are Trash FC if the women are trying to come up from relegation. We need the order to be restored. Balance must be restored. My fellow women, sort it out. Sort it out.
To be fair, it's the older gen.
It's true.
So they're going off anyway.
Yeah,
so it's fine.
they're still deep in the patriarchy.
Brenda's not going to be about in 10 years, so it's fine.
Evil lives longer. You should know that, fam. You should know that.
I do. Trust me, I do know that. Actually, quite frankly, I do know that.
But alright then. Well, till next time, I guess. Like, comment, subscribe, leave us a comment. I beg. It's so fun to see what you guys have to think, or have to say /think. But yeah, and this is on Netflix. You can watch it beforehand. Let us know your thoughts. All the episodes that we've mentioned, I will reference in the show notes. And share with someone you love. Share with someone you hate. Share with someone who you don't really know how to start the conversation again. And
share with someone who is a dumb bitch.
But hopefully you guys don't know any dumb bitches.
It's a cautionary tale.
Maybe you are the dumb bitch.
Yeah,
so
maybe you are. That's why you don't know anyone else.
Learn from this. Well, yeah, you can find us on the usual socials. It's all in our bio.
It's all in there.
It's all there. So if you want to see us that bad, click on the bio. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, till next time. Bye. Thank you so much for listening. We appreciate y'all.
Bye.
Bye.
You got this older woman who's lonely in the jail, and you got this man.
He was facing a capital murder charge, and she wanted to try to save him.
It's a disgusting romance novel, that's what it is.
Every woman wants to feel loved.
My queen, my everything. Voice after Casey now. Oh, wow.
We consider Casey White a very dangerous person.
Well, I'm flying on our adventure.
Nobody knows nothing unless you say something.
I thought, oh my God, she trusted him. Vicky, what have you done? Vicky devoted her life to her job.
I said, when are you going to retire? And she said, soon. And when I go, I'm going out with a bang.
Casey White is a romancer.
You know how much I love you.
Maybe child there for a while.
Vicky and Casey left the jail this morning, and they haven't came back yet.
There's no way they're going to pull off a stunt like this and live happily ever after.
The idea for the escape wasn't something that just happened overnight. Casey'd say, I'm trying to write a letter. How you spell this word? Gorgeous. And he'd hand the letter out to Vicky.
There was some phone sex, quite a bit of phone sex.
But you didn't know shorts.
Don't start.
She knew what the risks were. She didn't care.
They were making mistakes. And it was just a matter of time before we capitalized on one of those mistakes.
If I just knew she was running around with this dude, knowing what he could do to her, I would try to shake some sense into her.
They were just two people, different walks of life, that fell in love.
God, I love to hear you like that.
I was about to hear you now.
Oh my God, he will kill her.